Hello. I wanted to talk to you about the University of Phoenix, or schools that are like that, and with people who have disabilities. Now, I'll put the disclaimer here so the University of Phoenix doesn't try suing me or anything. That what I'm saying in this video is my opinion, and I'm just exercising my constitutional right of free speech. Because the University of Phoenix may be good for other people, but in my case, it turned to be like a ripoff. Because the way the school is set up, they have recruiters, and if you get a recruiter talking to you, they will, I say they use psychological tactics to get you to like them. They're like really nice to you and they act like they want to be your best friend. And then they get you all pumped up like, oh, you can do anything, you can do all this and that and the other thing. And it's like, because in my situation, I have strengths in certain areas, like vocabulary. I have a graduate student level vocabulary, but yet I can struggle to make it to fifth grade math. And then along with that, I have dyslexia and dyscalculia, and I have central auditory processing disorder, which are barriers and make school real difficult. And my problem is I can't get past the fifth grade math level because of the short-term memory requires and the visual tracking to keep your place in the longer, more difficult math problems and dyscalculia, performing calculations in your head using your short-term memory, and that's my weakness and that's part of my disability or my comorbidities of having dyspraxia, or the international term developmental coordination disorder. And then so I was going to the University of Phoenix, and then I was doing real good in the classes. I was getting A's in the classes until I got to a point where I needed to take a math class. And then it's like, I need extra help with math. And their answer to it is, hire a tutor. Or go find a high school kid to help you. And then they said that, and then have a high school kid to help you. And I even went to had a neuropsychological evaluation, and I paid $1,300 and had this report written up. And she had recommendations, and she made a list of recommendations to the school because I needed a report to the school that I needed accommodations. And then she had the list. She listed the accommodations, and then the lady called me from Phoenix, their disability coordinator, and they're like, well, she asked for this. No, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. So all the accommodations that the psychologist that I saw, that I spent $1,300, to get a educational evaluation. The Phoenix could not do any of the uh, accommodations, and one of them was either to modify or change or do away with the math requirement, but they weren't flexible at all. They said that's an essential part of the thing. So I was going to University of Phoenix and I earned 91 credits, but now I hit a brick wall because I can't get past that thing. And then so I just stopped going to the University of Phoenix. So I basically wasted my time, or unless if I do something to do some other college things, but it's to the point where the program has changed that those classes that I took aren't as valid anymore, or they're like updated. So then that I earn those credits, but those courses that I took aren't current anymore. So if I'd either have to retake them or do something else, even though I passed them. And then with my work situation, I can't mention where I work, but I was forced into another position which is much more physical, and I'm like very tired after work, so I wasn't able to carry the course load that I used to, even though it is one class at a time, and each class is 5 weeks long, but it's accelerated, and there's like a tremendous amount of homework you have to do. So with that, I couldn't keep up with working 40 hours a week plus doing an accelerated course load where you're required to read several chapters within a week, and then usually you have to write, or it depends how far you are in the courses, write up to a 2,000 word paper on a topic, and then plus do they call it a learning team project, where you're in the project with several other students, and then sometimes you have to write a really huge paper or do a paper and a PowerPoint presentation on the paper. So then you would have to do that in addition to doing your individual coursework, and you're required to be part of the learning team because they say it teaches you how to work in a team environment in the workplace and have all these, or you'd have the skills to work under pressure and work on a team with people. That's good, but or once I was forced to a harder, more physical job, I wasn't able to keep up with the schoolwork. So then I ended up dropping out of school, even though I earned 91 credits. I was did 3 years of college. And then also the psychologist was downing, are you sure you want to do all this? Because you're going to have to do this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. And with your disabilities, or if if my disabilities show up, like if I stutter or if I take too long to answer a question or show any signs of disability, that she said that no one's going to want to hire you. So I thought that was lovely. So then you're basically screwed. You could be technically smart enough to work your way through school, or if I go real hard, I would have to like learn math from 5th grade up to algebra in a short amount of time and be able to understand it and pass tests. So my thing is that, in my opinion, if you have a disability, that you shouldn't go to a thing like University of Phoenix, because it's, if you have disabilities with organizational skills or speed, that is so accelerated that at some point you will fall behind. And then the classes are very expensive. So now I did 3 years of school, and then with my job situation, having more physical, harder jobs, so then I'm like too exhausted to do accelerated schoolwork when I come home. That all I want to do is go to bed, but I would have to stay up real late at night doing homework, doing lots of reading, and I'm dyslexic, so my reading comprehension was horrible. Plus you gotta work with your learning team and do the homework and keep up with everything. And then you have to do class participation, and then participate with the class discussions reads on the computer. So, in my opinion, if you have disabilities that have issue with your organization skills and time management skills, that I wouldn't recommend University of Phoenix. I would look into the school very carefully and know all their policies about getting accommodations and grill them with the questions, because otherwise they'll just tell you what you want to hear just to get you to sign up, and they make their quotas. So that's it. If you have a disability, make sure you thoroughly vet the school and be sure that you'd be able to keep up with the thing, so you don't drop out and you're stuck with this huge student loan that you have to pay for. So that's all I have to say. Have a good night.